Somebody asked me, where do I get my ideas from? My answer is always my family and my kids. This was a tent house that she drew when she was younger. It inspired me to do the A-frame, the architecture of an A-frame cabin. I've been doing this for about 35 years. I've got probably close to 1,000 houses that I've built. Building it by yourself is always challenging. When I do it myself, I don't know what it's going to look like when it's done. I have an idea, I have a napkin sketch, that's all I have to go by. Everything else is figured on the fly, that moment, from where the walls are going to what drawer I'm going to put the spoons in. Hi, my name is Chris Broomfield. I'm 50 years old. I built and own evergreen cabins in upstate New York, and it's brought in over $2 million. This was the last guest that just stayed, and they wrote, "I love this place. It was so peaceful. The house is stunning, and we had a great weekend." As a host, reading these, it makes you realize that people are creating lifelong memories here. It just feels great to be part of that. It's so beautiful out here. It's calm, serene, quiet. It's just beautiful. So the property was $27,000. I bought it in 2015. I loved the location. My family loved the location. It's where I grew up. I always knew it was going to be an Airbnb property. I knew I was going to put multiple cabins on it. I chose this property because it was close to the lake. It was very wooded. It had rolling hills. I saw its potential with multiple cabins. It was a friend of mine selling it. I knew I was getting a decent deal at the time. I started building that summer. We started with the A-frame. The A-frame cost about $90,000 to build, and I used all of my profits from my construction business to build it. The process was amazing for me. I loved being up here, being able to build anything that I wanted to build, something that came from my mind and not a blueprint. The free reign was really enjoyable. When you hire somebody else to build off of a blueprint, you're stuck with what that blueprint is. So the A-frame is just that. It's the shape of an A, and it creates this part of the building that you can completely cover in glass, which really opens up the entire cabin. Building it by yourself is always challenging. There's no power, and back then battery-powered tools weren't as easily accessible as they are now. A lot of the challenge was the traveling. Every weekend I was traveling back and forth from Connecticut. I would travel an 8-hour round trip to work 12 hours for the weekend. At the time I was a contractor, carpenter, and I had that full-time job and business running during the week, so I could only work on the weekends. So every weekend I would drive up just to keep building on that A-frame. So it took about 3 years to build. I don't use a computer for any 3D renderings. It's all in my head. I just use the experience I have, build it, and adapt to the changes, and what comes out is literally everything that was in my head. So here it is. There's the tiniest bedroom you'll ever see, but it's got a huge surprise. That surprise allows you to stargaze outside at the touch of a button. The treehouse cost about $175,000 to build. I wanted to get the treehouse done as quickly as possible, so I hired some help, and it took us 13 weeks. I knew the model was there, it worked. By doing the A-frame, renting it out, the response from the guests was overwhelmingly amazing. So I knew the model worked. I just didn't want to miss the window of opportunity to continue this wave of guests and potential guest interest. You immediately walk in and you have your wide open kitchen overlooking the waterfalls. It's an open concept so that you can just hang out with your family in any part of the area and still be able to talk. I kind of wanted to create something that could bring in small and young families. So once you come up, you're into the bunk room. Great spot for the kids. And then you come into the master bedroom. Waking up to this view is amazing. Nobody around you. It's just wide open woods. The waterfalls, you can hear the waterfalls. It's just a beautiful way to wake up. Birch Falls cost about $160,000 to build. I got a $40,000 loan, which started the building process. Basically, it paid for the concrete to get poured, and then I was able to do the rest out of pocket.
So when you walk in, you're immediately immersed. The sound of the waterfalls, the warm floors radiating up.
I learned from the treehouse that the guests wanted to have an experience, not just a place to stay. I wanted to have a water element, so I designed an indoor waterfall for Birch Falls.
And this is where you can get your massage. Over here is the waterfalls that I designed. It's 18 feet long, 12 feet tall, and it has about 600 gallons that's constantly recirculated.
Since 2018 when I started until September 2025, Evergreen has brought in $2.1 million. The utilities monthly for this is about $700 a month. The operations cost, including payroll, is about $8,000 a month. And my property taxes are about $18,000 a year. I retired from contracting as my career in 2021 when I completed Birch Falls. I rarely have challenges day to day. I've got a great team that takes care of 99% of the day to day. I've set them up with all the correct platforms that allow each team member to work together.
Maintenance shed, laundry shed, and tractor barn. It's where our staff comes and does all the laundry and where all the tools are for all the repairs. So here's our daily checklist for maintenance. You check a sauna in the morning, you gotta complete all of those tasks for the day. Clean the workshop. Apparently yesterday was a busy day, so we didn't have time for that. But order an inventory and log in this time.
My day-to-day operations are basically overseeing the team, designing new cabins, and developing the future plans of Evergreen. The guests that stay are generally 25 to 35 years old. 99% of them are amazing. They appreciate what I've created. They compliment everything. They're incredibly nice and leave incredible reviews. When I first started in the A-frame, nightly rates were $50 to $60 a night. I increased it to $100 a night, thinking that I'm not going to get any booking. And it wasn't the case at all. I ended up having to increase the price up to, I think it was $220 per night. The way I run it now is I use dynamic pricing. And the price range is from $380 a night to $700 per night for each of the cabins. There's always going to be something that's going to be pushing me to do the next thing. I can't sit back and do nothing. My family is a huge part of my inspiration and my drive. Eventually, they're going to be the ones owning this. The legacy of Evergreen is, I don't really have a plan for it. I do know that it is going to inspire and help people, and my kids are going to be a part of that.